Hey, hockey fans, how's everybody doing? Hope everyone's had a great Friday, start to the weekend, watched some good hockey. Finally hit a best bet. It was a nice Winnipeg. Big performance, lots of goals in that game. It wasn't the only game with lots of goals, though. Parlay, we split. Winnipeg hit. Edmonton did not. Over-unders, we split. Winnipeg, obviously, that one hit on the over, but the under for Arizona and Vegas did not hit. Arizona got destroyed by Vegas. Anaheim got beat by Calgary, and Edmonton lost to Seattle. Winnipeg and Rangers were the ones that came through for us. That was Friday. Now we move on to Saturday, December 4th, 2021. Saturday, where there are 10 games on the board, some matinee hockey, and then into the evening. First game, St. Louis against Florida. Florida has Sergei Bobrovsky listed to be in net. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10, current 2-game winning streak. Play in St. Louis that has Ville Husso listed to be in net. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Number 1 in the Atlantic Division, the Panthers last played Buffalo, final 7-4 for Florida. Another comeback victory for the Cats. They were down 3-0 after the first, but rally back they did. Out shooting the Sabres, 45-31, 1 for 3 on the power play, and ended up winning that game. Aaron Ekblad with a couple goals, Anton Lundell with a couple goals, Sam Reinhart with a goal against his former team, which I'm sure felt good. Game before Buffalo was a game against Washington when they were down 4-1, and then again rallied back to win that game 5-4. Team just never quits. They play that full 60, which they have to do. An impressive 13-1-0 at home. They will be without Anthony Duclair and Alexander Barkov due to injuries, so they're going to miss those two in the lineup. And they're playing a Blues team who were doubled up by Tampa in their last game, played on Tuesday, 4-2 final for Tampa. Blues have their share of challenges right now, still without David Perron and with an injury, and Jordan Binnington, Justin Falk, and Tyler Bozak all out due to COVID now. Blues sit second place in the Central, and historically they have fared pretty good against Florida, winning 2 of the last 3. Most recent was February 5th, 2019, and they won that 3-2. Money line, plus 155 or 2.55 for St. Louis, minus 175 or 1.57 for Florida. You got to like Florida here, especially with Binnington and a couple other bodies out because of COVID, some challenges St. Louis has. You got to like Florida to win at home. Just such a strong home team. Game 2, Montreal against Nashville. Nashville has Saros listed to be in net. They're 5-5-0, current 1-game losing streak. Montreal, Jake Allen listed to be in net. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10, current 2-game losing streak. Nashville, they played Boston on Tuesday and outshot the Bruins 42-33. Yet ended on the losing end of a 2-0 final score. Preds played a solid game. 1 for 2 pucks netted by Boston was when they had the man advantage. So it was definitely an improvement from the game previous to that. Philip Forsberg leading Nashville in production with 6 goals, 8 points in his last 5 games. Mikael Granlund with 5 helpers in his last 5. Nashville in the win 1, lose 1 loop going back 7 games now. You look, it's win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1. According to that little pattern they got going on, they should win this game. And they should win this game. The Canadiens, they were in action as well when they had Colorado in town. Montreal lost that game 4-1 at home. Changes and struggles are still a story in Montreal. Dominic Ducharme, coach of the Canadiens, he recalled up some bodies, got some new lines going, before their trip to Nashville. So we'll see if that results in anything positive. This is the second and the last meeting between these two teams. November 20th, they played. Montreal actually won that game and doubled them up 6-3. Money line, plus 167 or 2.67 for Montreal, minus 192 or 1.52 for Nashville. I think Nashville evens this series and easily wins this game against Montreal. Nashville home team is going to be my pick. Game 3, game I'm really looking forward to. 2 really hot teams. Toronto against Minnesota. Minnesota has Cam Talbot listed to be in net. They're 7-2-1 with a current 5-game winning streak. Toronto also with a current 5-game winning streak. They're 9-1-0 in their last 10. Jack Campbell listed to be in net. Minnesota with their latest win streak. has them in first place in the Central and also a best goal differential in the division at a +20. Their last game was Thursday when they defeated New Jersey 5-2. They also hold the best home record in the division right now at a 9-2-0. Kirill Kaprizov with 10 points in his last 5, playing high-level hockey. I enjoy watching him play very, very much. Ryan Hartman with 4 goals in his last 5, sitting 4th in the league in goals for. Minnesota is on a tear. They're just playing good energy with that team. Another team with good energy, though, is Toronto. Toronto, another hot team, tied with Florida, both with 35 points right now in the Atlantic. Wednesday was the last game the Leafs played in dominating performance against a tough team, but 8-3 win over Colorado. Austin Matthews with a hat trick in the game. Besides Matthews' 3 goals, the other 5 came from 5 different goal scorers. All 8 goals scored when 5-on-5. Goaltending has been a big factor. This Toronto team's doing so well. Jack Campbell, he brings a 13-4-1 record into this game, a 1.72 goals against average, and a .943 save percentage, and also 3 shootouts so far on the season. First of 2 regular season games, this will be a good game. And one of their 5-game winning streaks is going to come to an end. Money line, -120 or 1.83 for Toronto, +100 or an even 2 for Minnesota, over/under set at 6. I like the Wild to stay strong and win at home against a tough Toronto team. Going to be a great game. Really looking forward to watching that one. Next game, Game 4, Tampa against Boston, an East Atlantic Division matchup. Boston has Linus Ullmark listed to be in net. They're 6-4-0 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Tampa, Andrei Vasilevsky listed to be in net. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Thursday, the Bruins blanked Nashville 2-0. As I already touched on, this was a tight game. One of the 2 goals was when the Bruins had the man advantage. Jerry Swayman had a great night, stopping all 42 shots, his first shootout of the season. Patrice Bergeron being a great leader for the Bruins and playing well, 5 points in his last 5. Another team, though, in that win one, lose one loop. They've been at that for a while now. Boston is beating teams that they should beat, but they're struggling against the better, good, strong teams. And Tampa would be one of those strong teams. Tampa just off 2 games against St. Louis, where the Lightning lost 1-1. Thursday, it was a 4-2 final for Tampa. It was a big win for the Bolts, who had a 3-0 lead in the first game and ended up losing that one 4-3. Tampa also still winning without Braden Point and Kucherov in the lineup. And Tampa beginning a back-to-back, they played Philadelphia on Sunday. This is a first of 4 between these two. I say pretty comparable teams right now. 6 points separates these 2 teams, although Tampa has played 2 more games than Boston. Tampa's kind of had Boston's number, especially in the playoffs. And it seems like Boston has kind of done okay against them in regular season play, except when I looked at it historically. I think Tampa even was pretty strong in the last few regulation games for these 2 teams. Tough call. Money line +100 for Tampa or an even 2. Boston -120 or 1.83. I'm going to look to the home team here and to break this little streak they have going of win 1, lose 1, and to actually beat a strong team. Boston's going to be my pick. Next game, Colorado against Ottawa. Ottawa has Philip Gustafsson listed to be in net. They're 2-8-0 in their last 10 with a current 1-game winning streak. Colorado 8-2-0 in their last 10, also a current 1-game winning streak. Darcy Kemper should be back in net here. Ottawa played Carolina on Thursday. The Senators scored the first goal and continued on to win 3-2 final. Geez, it's odd when you read that Carolina won 3-2 final, or Ottawa beat Carolina in a 3-2 final. 6 straight losses before that. Anton Forsberg, he was awesome in that game. Carolina outshot Ottawa 49-20. Ottawa gets the odd win, but there has not been much exciting to talk about in Ottawa. I think they've got 2 wins in their last 13 or 14 games. Colorado, they're hanging around the Central Division, which is getting tight between 2nd and 6th position right now. Only 2 points separate 5 teams. Thursday, the Avs defeated Montreal 4-1 on the back end of their back-to-back hockey. Wednesday was an 8-3 loss. That was a tough loss against Toronto where they got dominated. Colorado in first place in goals for, and although they sit 26 in goals against, Darcy Kemper should be back in net and he has won 3 of his last 4 starts and playing his position better as the season kind of goes on here. This is the last regular season game between these two, November 22nd. Colorado won 7-5 when they first met this season. Money line minus 230 for Colorado or 1.43. Ottawa plus 190 or 2.9 over under. Vegas is expecting a lot of goals, set at 6.5. I like the visiting team here, favorite to win the game. Colorado. Next one, number 6, New York Islanders against Detroit. Detroit has Alex Nedeljkovic listed to be in net. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10. Current 4-game winning streak. The Islanders won 8-1 and finally broke their losing streak by pushing a game into extra time, but they still lost in overtime. Sorokin listed to be in net for the Islanders. There are a few teams on a roll, and Detroit is one of them. Wednesday was their last game and a final 4-3 shootout win over Seattle. Before that, 2-1 over Boston. Dylan Larkin with 4 assists, 6 points in his last 5 games. Lucas Raymond, both these guys playing good hockey, 3 goals in his last 5 games. And the Red Wings have a pretty good home record. They're 8-2-2 at home. The Islanders, they were able to get a much-needed point when they played San Jose on Thursday. Still lost 2-1 in overtime. Islanders have now lost 9 games in a row, sitting last, 32nd in power play, 31st in goals for, and it's just hard to believe that I'm even telling you that with the talent that's on this team. Although the last game a loss, the Islanders happy to have Anders Lee, Josh Bailey, Andy Green, Adam Pelech all back after COVID and happy to get a point. First point that they've gotten in 9 games. During last season, teams met 3 times and the Islanders went 3-0-0 and outscored Detroit 16-4. This is the first of 3 games that these teams are going to play. Money line, minus 115 for New York or 1.86, kind of a coin flip game. Minus 105 for Detroit or 1.95, over under set at 5.5. I look to New York, guys back in the lineup. They've had a little time to kind of get back in the groove. They played a pretty good game when they lost that last game. I thought they played a good game. I see them winning this game and turning this around. They've got to turn this around. There's just too much talent on the team, just like Winnipeg, just like Vancouver. They're going to turn it around, and I think New York does it here against Detroit, even though Detroit's playing good hockey. Visiting team's going to be my pick. Next game, 7th game, Columbus against Washington. Washington has Samsonov listed to be in net. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10. Overtime decision in their last game. East Metropolitan matchup here. Columbus 5-5-0 in their last 10. Current 3-game losing streak. Elvis Merzlikins listed to be in net. Number 1 in the Metropolitan. The Capitals last played Chicago and lost that game 4-3 in a shootout. Shots were even, 28 apiece. Puck drop battle at an even 50% apiece. TJ Oshie getting closer to being back in their lineup, I think. Connor Sheary, I think, could be back in the lineup against this game against Columbus. Ovechkin's still atop the leaderboard when it comes to producing with 4 goals, 8 points in his last 5, although kept off the scoreboard when they played Chicago. The Caps having a good season. I mean, they're sitting 5th in goals for, 4th in goals against. Just having a great year. A strong, mature team for sure. Going to be a tough team as the season goes on. Columbus, they're coming into this game hungry for a win as they've lost their first 3 on their road trip so far. 6-3 to St. Louis, 6-0 to Nashville, and then the best one on the road trip so far, their last one, was a 3-2 loss. That was on Thursday. This is the last game before they go home, and Sunday they have San Jose. So back-to-back beginning here. This will be the second of 4 games. On November 12th, Washington edged out a 4-3 win over Columbus. Friday afternoon, Washington also announced that Nick Dowd now is in COVID protocol. It's kind of an interesting game. You want to see how Washington's going to bounce after losing that game to Chicago. Money line plus 180 for Columbus or 2.8, minus 220 or 1.45 for Washington. Over-under set at 6. Obviously, Vegas expecting Washington to easily win this game, but I see Columbus maybe pulling up an upset here. I like the value here for Columbus, and I think that they usually play Washington quite tight, and I think they're going to upset here. Washington to lose, Columbus to win. That's my pick. Next game, Buffalo against Carolina. Frederik Andersen listed to be in net. They're 5-4-1 with a current 3-game losing streak. Buffalo Who's going to be in net? Tokarski, Arundel, I'm not sure yet. They acquired a new goalie. Maybe he'll be, it's tough to say. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10. Current 2-game losing streak. Carolina falling in the Metropolitan with 3 straight losses. First loss, Washington, okay. Second loss, Dallas, okay. But then that Thursday loss to Ottawa. I mean, that's just 3-2 final. They did outshoot Ottawa, and they actually peppered Anton Forsberg with 49 shots. They were 1 for 4 on the power play. The first time this season, the Kings have lost 3 in a row. Carolina has put 89 shots on net in the last 2 games, and only 3 have found the back of the net. Thursday did mark a positive. They got a power play goal, and that was the first one in 21 opportunities. They were over 20 before that, so let's take a positive out of it. And again, Frederik Andersen in net, he's still having a great season. Buffalo thought they were going to win on Thursday when they started off strong and had a 3-0 lead over Florida, as we already talked about earlier, only to have the Panthers rally and dominate the rest of the game and win 7-4, handing Buffalo a loss. The Sabres acquired Malcolm Subban from Chicago on Thursday to get some help with their goaltending situation. This is the first of 3 games between these two teams. Money line plus 235 for Buffalo, or 3.35. They're a big dog. Minus 290 or 1.34 for Carolina. Over under set at 6. Carolina is a perfect 10-0-0 in the last 10 meetings between these two teams, and I think they just stay a perfect, go 11-0-0 after this game. Carolina to win the game. Next game, Chicago against the New York Rangers. The Rangers have Alexander Gorgaev listed to be in net. They're 9-1-0 in their last 10, current 5-game winning streak. Chicago has Marc-Andre Fleury listed to be in net. They're 7-3-0 with a current 1-game winning streak. New York on a back-to-back after playing San Jose Friday and getting a win with a 1-0 final score. Ryan Strome with the lone goal in the first period. Shesterkin injured in the third period. That's obviously some big news, obviously a serious concern, although sounding like a minor lower body injury. We'll probably hear more about that tomorrow in the news. Panarin with 7 points in his last 5. Kreider with 4 goals. Fox with 6 assists. Second place in the Metropolitan, only 1 point behind Washington. The best last 10 in the division right now. The Rangers, good hockey team, there's no question. Now you got Chicago, though. They had one of their best performances and wins this season so far when Thursday they played Washington and they won 4-3 in a shootout. The first time they won in Washington since 2006. The kind of win that builds confidence and good energy in a team, for sure. Hawks are fighting for a full 60 minutes in these games, and they're trying to turn this season around, and I think they might be starting to do that. This is the first of 2 games between these two. Money line plus 165 or 2.65 for Chicago, minus 185 or 1.54 for New York, over under set at 6. I'm a fan of both these teams, but I'm going to call another upset here. I'm going to go Chicago to beat the New York Rangers at home. That's going to be my pick. Last one, we've got Pittsburgh against Vancouver. Vancouver, Thatcher Demko listed to be in net. They're 3-7-0 in their last 10. Current 2-game winning streak. Pittsburgh, Tristan Jarry listed to be in net. They're 5-4-1 with a current 1-game losing streak. Vancouver, last place in the Pacific, but 2 wins in a row now. Last game against Ottawa on Wednesday with a 6-2 final score. Quinn Hughes with 4 assists in that game, and all 6 goals by 6 different goal scorers, which is something I've mentioned lots, but I really like that when I see that. Vancouver outshot Ottawa 35-21, 2 for 6 on the power play. The Canucks finally starting to reap some benefits from their hard work and efforts. Thatcher Demko, he's always going to give this team a chance to win, and now that they're getting some goals, things could turn around for them. Pittsburgh last played Wednesday when they lost 5-2 to Edmonton, the 3rd straight loss after a 5-game winning streak. Sidney Crosby leading the Pittsburgh Penguins now in his last 5 games with 5 assists, 6 points. Still claiming first spot when it comes to penalty kill at 91.4%. Just a strong penalty kill. Jarry, he's playing well with a 1.97 goals against average and a .933 save percentage. Last game between these two was November 24th, and Pittsburgh won that game 4-1. Money line. Minus 140 for Pittsburgh or 1.71, plus 120 or 2.2 for Vancouver. Over under set at 5.5. I'm going to take the home team, Vancouver, to win the game. Best bet, I'm going to go Carolina. My parlay, I'm only going to do one this Saturday. I'm going to go Nashville money line and the New York Islanders money line. And I'm going to do one over, and that's the Carolina-Buffalo game. That's all I'm going to do on Saturday. Got a lot going on, so that's what I'm going to do. Regular picks. We've got Vancouver over Pittsburgh. We've got Chicago over the Rangers. We've got Carolina over Buffalo. And we're also going to go on the over 6 there for that game. Then we've got Columbus over Washington. The Islanders over Detroit. Colorado over Ottawa. Boston over Tampa. Minnesota over Toronto. Nashville over Montreal. And Florida to stay strong at home to beat St. Louis. St. Louis has just got too many bodies out right now. That's what I'm going to do for Saturday. I hope everyone has a great Saturday. Enjoy some hockey. December 4th. Geez, 21 days, 3 weeks until Christmas. It's crazy. Good luck with your picks. Thanks for watching. Talk soon.